Hi, everyone. Can everyone hear me?
So
What's up? I love that. Yeah, we're coming live from somewhere. We're going to let a couple more people coming in, and then we're going to get started. It's good to see everyone. We may or may not have Andre from Zillow here today. But I know more than him, so it's fine. That's just a joke, you guys. That's like a joke. I wouldn't be who I am. There
Anyone like my shirt?
Don't everyone say I said that. What is that? Kim Kardashian with Down syndrome?
Yeah, she's crying. She's having a hard day.
All right, cool. Andre, you here with me, man?
I am. I'm here. I was somewhere else in Zoom land for a moment, but I'm here now.
Radical, man. Awesome. Cool. Good to see you. Let me
Likewise.
Cool. So you're here with Oz Group and friends, right? I'm just gonna dive in. We've got a bunch of people here. I'm gonna share my screen and
Action out to your base salary because we know you're going through.
let's see here. Cool. All right, guys. So what we're here to do, Andre, I'm just gonna cruise through this and then I'll ping you in. Is that cool?
Sounds good.
Radical, man. So Andre and I were talking about the market, right? Does anybody just you guys can shout it out, man. Unmute yourselves. What do you guys think about the market right now? What's going on?
it's insane.
It's insane. What does that mean? Tell me more about that.
There's, I don't know, especially in Middlesex County where I am, there's very, very low inventory. Over ask has been nonstop. I mean, we even Danielle Petroselli even saw it. There was $100,000 over ask on one property by us. It just seems like there's nothing available, and but there is a bunch of people willing to buy, so it's kind of crazy.
Dude, that's awesome. Dude, Anthony, thank you, man. I love that. I love participating. Guys, the really cool thing is people are like, you guys are in a cool position because you have low inventory, but you've got a ton of buyers. You guys have a ton of opportunities. That's why Andre's here. So thanks to Andre, our phones are ringing and we have consumers at the height of their motivation, right? Like they're at the height of their motivation. They're talking to the best team, arguably, not arguably, tri-state area, right? And what we have to do is we're gonna navigate our way through this, right? Imagine being one of these agents. I've talked to a lot of agents and a lot of team leaders who they don't know where their next deal's coming from, and they certainly and there's low inventory, right? So that's what we're hearing, right? So guys, I'm here to tell you, Andre and I were having a conversation about this because across the board, nationwide, transactions have just they've kind of deflated this month, right? Usually that's because nobody did any work in December, but I know we were working in December, right? But usually nobody does any work in December. They cry in January. They don't have any escrows, right? But we were working, right? And so we're going to kind of walk through this. We're in a really good spot. You just have to know how to navigate it. And there's opportunity in every market. So winter's here, right? I asked, I said, how would you describe the market in one word? Anthony, what did you say? You said it's insane. Insane. Cool. One thing I'm going to teach you guys right now, the first thing I'm going to teach you is we're not going to say insane. When a customer or consumer asks us about the market, we can say it to each other, right? We're like, yo, this shit is insane, right? But we can, during COVID, everyone was saying crazy, this market's crazy. What we're going to say is you guys want to know what we're going to say? How we're going to describe the market in one word to the consumer? Dynamic, right? It's a dynamic market. Sounds smarter, right? It sounds like you might have some control over it, right? If you can come across as the resource that understands this market and can navigate the consumer to hit their goal, which is buying or selling a house, they will work with you and they will stay with you. Does that make sense? Now, how do we feel about the market? Now, when we take the temperature on the market, and by the way, back to the dynamic thing, know your market. If you work in Point Pleasant, you should know how many houses came on the market that morning. You should know how many houses came on the market the week before. You should know how many houses came on the market 2 days ago. Does this make sense? And if you have a showing homes client in your pipeline, if you have someone that you're writing offers for, if you have someone that you're actively working with, you should be checking the hot list and the hot sheet that morning. You should be calling them to say, hey, Mike, 123 Banana Street just hit the market. This completely matches your criteria. Let's go see it today. And if we can't, I'm already standing out front of it and I'm going to take you through a video tour. Right? That's who's going to win. We don't say the market's crazy or it's insane. We say, hey, you know what? Interest rates doubled last year. They've come down. It looks like they've actually leveled off. Buyers have finally, the light switch went off, the gun went off, the race is starting, and we got to get out there, man. We got to get serious, because guess what? You got to own a house. You can't be homeless, and renting sucks. So let's go out there and get it, right? This is just like anything else. How do we feel about the market? I say dynamic. It kind of feels like the stock market, right? Like rates are up, rates are low. They're doing, like, it kind of feels weird, right? Like buyers are motivated, buyers are not motivated. Like it kind of feels a little nutty, right? Well, one thing I want to tell you guys is you don't have the opportunity to be emotional about it. You have to be a professional, right? And that's what this looks like. So going through this, knowing the market, you have to know the market now better than you ever did, right? You should always know the market. Like you should know how many, I'm not going to put him on the spot, but like, Ethan just he's about to close on an expired listing that he took, right? Like, I think like if I was Ethan and I'm working Manasquan, I would know how many expireds came on the market today. I would know how many cancels withdrawals came on the market today. I would definitely be calling those people. By the way, if something expires, cancels, withdraws in this market, it's because their realtor sucked, right? Because all the houses are going to sell. They just need to be priced right. Also, the last thing I'm going to say here is don't get emotional about the market. What we see with a lot of realtors, and they express it on social media, which is insane. Their emotions match the market. Think about that. 2 years ago, how were realtors' emotions? They're like buying Lamborghinis and going on vacation in Maui and whatever. They're like, oh yeah. And then the market takes a little bit of a turn or gets a little bit difficult, and they get like sad or whatever. Like, no matter what the market, there's an opportunity. So we're not going to be emotional about it.
Yes, Freya.
What is it going to take to win this market? The line, like, you got to be tough, guys. You have to be tough and you have to show up. You've got to work, right? If you think you're going to cruise through and close 2 houses a month and not do the work and not show up, it's just not going to happen, right? The lions and the lionesses are the ones that are going to win this market. This is like apex predator environment, right? And by the way, those are the people we try to hire and work with. So I know there's a lot of you guys on our team. Andre, what did you tell me were the 3 things that an agent was going to need to survive in this market?
That would be operational excellence, emotional intelligence, and some level of X factor.
Cool. We're going to talk about those. Is that cool with you?
Sounds great.
Cool. Operational excellence. I'm going to talk a little bit about this, and I'd love to hear what you have to say, right? So guys, I would write this down. These are the 3 things you need to survive: operational excellence, emotional intelligence, and an X factor. Operational excellence helps real estate companies and agents to be more efficient and effective in their day-to-day operations, which can lead to increased productivity and profitability. So here are some examples of operational excellence in our organization, okay? Guys, if you're on this team, you came here, you guys have a lot of leverage. Single agents don't have a Lauren, they don't have a Slack, they just don't have the things that you guys have, right? They don't have an Andre, they don't have their phone ringing. You guys have a lot of leverage here. These are examples of operational excellence in our organization. The post-connection call checklist, right? We have these things for a reason, guys. Make sure to be following that. On the post-connection call checklist, I'm going to say this over and over. This is going to tie in the X factor and the emotional intelligence thing of this. The number one thing that you can do to win an offer when you submit it is getting into a relationship with the listing agent. This starts on your very first phone call when you book the appointment, right? And by the way, I think I saw Dominic come in here. Any of you people that are like crushing and have figured out the weirdness, like you like unicorns, feel free to like jump in anywhere, man, right? Like I know there's people on this call that are just like completely have the X factor, and I would love to hear what you have to say. But when you guys set that appointment, I see agents like text messaging appointments, setting appointments on text message. That sucks. You need to get them on the phone and have a conversation with them. This is like play by play, like minute by minute. Like, do you have any offers? What does that look like? Printing out your buyer package. If you guys aren't printing out your buyer package for every showing, you're going to lose, right? Anthony just said, yeah, Danielle lost a house $100,000 over. By the way, this isn't Miami. This isn't Orange County, LA, whatever, San Francisco. This is the Jersey Shore. So 100 grand over. He's saying that because that's a lot. I mean, if that was a $800,000 house or $500,000 house, that's like 20%, like whatever. It's $1 million house. That's 10% over asking. That's insanity. So what you have to do is you have to bring those comps so you can show them in numbers what's happening to the market. If you meet someone for the first time, very, very first time and they want to make an offer on that house and you tell them they have to offer $100,000 over it, they're going to think that you're nuts, right? And you have to show them in the proof. That's why we bring those, man. That's like the social proof. That's like the validity. And identifying 1 to 2 houses. I point out A, B, and C. These are probably the 3 most important parts of the post-connection call checklist. Identifying 1 to 2 additional homes nearby based on the client's search criteria. That's important, guys, because they might lose that first house or that house they called in on might not be available. You've got to get them out looking at other stuff, right? In marketing, it's called a loss leader, right? They would a company will advertise something that's really not available to get you in the door so they can sell you something else, right? That sounds deceitful, but when there's 10 or 20 people offering on a house 10% over, there's a good chance they might not get that one. And we want to go show them some other stuff. This is all strategic stuff, right? I'm not going to go through all this stuff. Part of our operational excellence is Gab hosts an onboarding diving into this stuff every single month. On day 2 and 3, she dives deep on this stuff. You can always go in there and just sit in on it, right? And listen to it. The stuff's all on YouTube as well. Our listing agent pre-showing conversation, which is what I was just talking about, offer submission checklist, things like that, right? Andre, operational excellence. Anything you want to talk on that?
Yeah, to me, this is really, it comes down to having a process, not just on a post-connection call, but on the showing, after the showing, when you're writing an offer, when you win the offer, when you don't win the offer, when they close on the house. You have a checklist at every single step of the way. There should be no guesswork, especially on the buyer side of the business. It's all about, you don't want your intelligence to get in the way on the buyer side of the business. Don't overthink it. Just follow the process, do it every single time. And if you come to a point in your process where you don't have a process, that's when you should lean on your peers. You should lean on your leaders for support and make sure that you have a step-by-step for everything, for every single phase of a buyer's journey through that process. What it looks like to me is, a lot of agents were able to skate by in 2021 and skate by in 2022 with honestly really lame goals. I'm going to do more deals. I'm going to, work my sphere more. And so what? What does that actually mean? Who here, raise their hands, who here knows how many appointments they're going to go on in 2023 as a minimum? Joe? Anyone else? Okay, so nobody in this room has a plan. Not one of you. If you don't know how many appointments you're going to go on this year, you don't know how many deals you're going to have. That is the math equation that it comes down to. That is operational excellence, is knowing what it's going to take to get to your goals and doing what it takes to get there. And then you go through those processes every step of the way along the way, right? Because right now, if we're failing to plan, we're planning to fail. So that's to me what operational excellence looks like.
Hell yeah. Thanks, Andre. Since you're so smart, so the emotional intelligence, is the ability. So guys, emotional intelligence, and I'm going to ask Andre to talk on this before I yell at you guys for 10 minutes about it. Emotional intelligence is the ability. Hey, Ethan, will you read this for me?
Yeah, sure. Emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage one's own emotions, as well as the emotions of others. Involves several key components, including self-awareness, the ability to recognize and understand one's own emotions and how they affect behavior; self-regulation, the ability to control and manage one's own emotions and reactions; motivation, the ability to harness one's emotions to achieve goals; empathy, the ability to understand and respond to the emotions of others; and social skills, the ability to build and maintain positive relationships with others.
Thanks, Ethan. Andre, what does emotional intelligence look like for the agent who's going to win in 2023 in a market where there's going to be low inventory and lower transactions?
Yeah, that's a good one. So emotional intelligence to me in as a realtor, it's getting to the true objection, right? Not that they can't offer that 50K more that's going to get in the house, it's that they don't. And why not? Maybe it's their father-in-law that's going to, chastise them because they got, 10% under and you should never pay over ask for the property. Like maybe that's the real objection. It's like dealing with their family and, whatever comes with that. That's just one off the cuff example, right? But emotional intelligence is not just like checking the box of, okay, 3-bed, 2-bath, half-acre lot, like cool. So what? Like emotional intelligence is knowing that real estate is unique in the sales process in that not only is it's the foundation of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you need a damn roof over your head. But it's also, it's so caught up in terms of our identities, who we are as people and how we carry ourselves in the world. Like I am somebody of this town. It means the lifestyle that comes with being on the beach or walking distance to the beach, right? There's so much tied into that. And emotional intelligence is like harnessing that and using that to your advantage in the sales process so that you can actually earn the right to make that recommendation for another house and know that it is going to be a right fit because you're actually getting to the root of their wants or you're getting to the root of their actual objections, not just the surface level objection that might be, when we role play objection handling, like, yeah, those can be real objections, but sometimes those could just be surface level. And emotional intelligence is that ability to go that next level deeper and have that difficult conversation of like, look, I know what it's going to mean to you to have the fenced in yard for your dog for the first time in you and your family's lives. But the reality is that this is a very dynamic market. This is a declining transaction environment. And people are willing to pay $100,000 over for similar properties. Here's 3 other ones just like it where that happened in the last 60 days. So are we going to come up with that winning offer on this house? Or are we going to change the criteria of what we're looking for? Because ultimately home ownership is more important to you than anything else right now. And neither you nor I want to spend the next 3 months of weekends looking for houses and putting in offers that we're not winning. Like, let's cut to the chase here. Like, let's get you in a house that works for you and your family.
Dude, that was awesome. Dude, I've never bought a house in the actual area I wanted to live because I couldn't afford it. I had to like move inland a little bit or, you know what I mean? Like I had to change my criteria, man, like I wanted a yard for my dog, like that's awesome, Andre.
Right. So we got the objection, right? Like that yard for the dog is more important than being on the beach.
Yeah, I don't, 100%. That's awesome. Yeah. So what I'm hearing is the person, are you still there, Andre? I'm hearing like the person that checked the boxes is like, it's not going to work, right? We got to dive really, really deep. That's why all the conversations that you have with the listing agent are going to help you win the deal. The conversations that you have asking the right questions to the consumer is going to help you win the consumer.
Yes, exactly.
And remember, guys, we say this all the time, man. Audrey Lee said this to me. She's like, Joe, are you bringing them value? And I was like, I said something dumb. I don't know. What do you mean? She's like, and then she said to me, Joe, bringing value to another person is giving them information they didn't know that they needed. And like helping them realize solutions they didn't know that they needed to realize. And I thought that was awesome. This is too much. So the X Factor. So the X Factor. Can I have a volunteer to read the X Factor?
I'll read it. The X Factor. The X Factor is a term that is used to describe an intangible quality or characteristic that sets someone or something apart from others and makes them particularly successful or special. The exact nature of the X Factor can vary depending on the context, but it often refers to a certain level of talent, charisma, or unique ability that cannot be easily replicated or explained. In the context of real estate, the X Factor can be a unique combination of skills, knowledge, and abilities that a realtor has that sets them apart from the others in their field and makes them particularly successful in helping people buy or sell property.
Thanks, dude. Andre, since you did so well last time, People have heard me scream 100 times. What's the X factor look like for the agent that's going to succeed in 2023?
Yeah, man. So X factor when it comes to real estate right now is like you listen back to your connection call, and yeah, we have the connection call scoreboards, and you go through ALM. Cool, like that's all important stuff, right? But X factor is like dumb it down to one question. You listen back to that call. Has that customer found their agent? Has that customer found their agent? You can hear it. I've listened to literally thousands of connection calls, and yeah, I could recite the connection call scoreboard like the back of my hand, but at the same time, like what matters in that is, did they find their agent? Have you added enough value or perceived value in that call? Have you built enough of a, like your audition, your 60-second, 120-second audition for meeting that customer to earn the opportunity to be their realtor for life starts with the fact that you are knowledgeable, likable, and trustable. And the X factor is the ability to rapidly and effectively communicate that trust, knowledge, and likability.
Wow. I agree.
Andre, can you repeat exactly what you just said? I'm sorry, to rapidly, and then I couldn't keep up.
Rapidly communicate likability, trustability, and knowledge or expertise.
So think about when Andre's dropping lyrical verbal bombs on everybody's faces. Thank you, Andre. Think about who here sat an open house before, right? And got a client from the open house. Like a stranger came in the front door. See Dave raising his hand. Anyone else? Gabrielle's raising her hand. Anthony, Danielle. This is awesome. So those people, guess what? Congratulations to anyone that's raising your hand, because you know what? You have the X factor. Does that make sense? Right? So like, I knew I had something when I could sit at an open house. Stranger would walk in. I'd be like, hey, and you've got like 3 minutes to like, do they know you, like you, and trust you? Well, now they know me. Guess what? You'd find out on Monday or Tuesday when you followed up with them, right? Like that's when you really found out if they like whatever. But sometimes you meet someone at open house and you're like, holy shit, I'm going to sell them a house. That's my new client, you guys. So that's the X factor. And the same thing happens on calls. I have this thing, Gab has it, a lot other people have it. It's not special to me, but I can listen to a Zillow call just like Andre's saying it, and I'll be like, oh, that person's buying a house. And then I could be like, oh, that person's using Chris Torres, or that person's definitely using Danielle Petrozelli. Like as long as Danielle doesn't fall off the face of the earth, that person's working with Danielle, right? So I love that. I made a couple notes here about the X factor, right? And this kind of, all this stuff ties in together. Please understand the market, guys. Study the market with the hour, instead of like doom scrolling through Netflix or Instagram or TikTok or whatever. Like just go out there and preview houses, guys. Stay active, know what's going on, please. Like a lot of you guys, agents that are working hard don't have the luxury of their phone ringing and just having buyers, right? Like they have to find buyers and know the inventory. So like I said, have your just know the market. Like know how many houses. Like if I was to ask this group, like how many of you could, if I was like, how many houses sold in the town that you specialize in last year? How many people could tell me that number? Right? How many houses sold in Monmouth County last year? How many people could tell me that number? Right? Andre can tell us how many houses sold in the United States last year. He could tell, like he knows those, like we have to know these numbers. And when they show up, to earn them the right to be their realtor for the rest of their lives, we have to be the expert.
Yeah, I talked to an agent the other day who knew how many houses had garages in the town that he farmed.
Dude, that's awesome, man.
That level of expertise. He's like, yeah, there's 56 houses, 56 lots that have garages in this town. Like that level of expertise. That's
awesome.
What we should be striving for.
Dude, when I was in Baltimore, they had parking pads. They don't have garages. They have parking pads. And I had an agent who always knew like which houses on the market had parking pads, right? So X factor, here's the secret. You have to understand the market to be able to explain it to your clients. You do this by attending masterminds. Here's a hint. Every Monday, the Fast Forward Mastermind with our group is the highest level mastermind happening in the United States. It's free. You just go into it anytime, right? Every Monday. Talk to high performing agents. All I do all day long is talk to people that are really, really smart that are doing what I want to do, right? Actually attend your coaching sessions with your personal growth coach. If you have a coaching call with Gab once a week, probably go to it. I don't know, maybe, but I'm going to be popping into some next week. Maybe I'll help. Maybe we know together. Maybe we can help you get into production. I don't know. Show a lot of houses. Stay out there, preview houses, do reels, whatever. Write a lot of offers. Keep writing offers. Number 2, have the courage to tell your clients exactly what they need to know to win the offer. Is exactly what Andre just said. Like on the first meeting, let them know now, hey, this is going to be dynamic. It's not going to be awesome. It's a cheese grater to the face, right? Like, but guess what? I'm going to get you through it because guess what? My team is the #1 Zillow Flex team in the tri-state area. I'm going to do it because my team closes over 100 houses a year. I'm going to do it because I have a growth coach. I have a transaction coordinator. I have a listing coordinator. I have a director of operations, and I have systems that work. I'm the person that's going to get this done for you. You should be talking to them about the price they should offer. The first house you show, you should talk about other houses that you lost out on that week. Other houses agents on your team lost out on. Like they need to know what's going on. Does that make sense, right? Like, hey, you're going to Hawaii next week. That's awesome. Hey, by the way, it's gonna be raining all week. I know that sucks, but we're gonna have to plan some stuff besides sitting on the beach. Like that's what it looks like. It's the cool part is we're gonna be on vacation. We're gonna be together. We're not gonna be surfing. We're not gonna be snorkeling. We're not gonna be scuba diving. Contingencies they should be removing, right? When people are like, oh yeah, you know what? When they're like, yeah, I gotta sell my house first, you should be laughing in their face and they should be able to articulate why that's not going to work, right? Because they're gonna go through so much pain. That's your job to alleviate that pain. Allied resources, they're more important now more than ever. Saving deals with our title company, our mortgage company, our attorneys, our home inspectors. Guys, when deals die, it's because you did not use our allied resources. That's just the truth. Things are going to get hairy. Buyers are going to be they're going to think they're overpaying. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't, but they need somewhere to live. They can't be homeless and renting sucks, right? So they need to buy a house. And during that process, they're going to be grumpy and it's going to get weird. And you're going to want your allied resources handling them with the same white glove service that you'd be handling them with, right? Evan Beach is on this call. That dude keeps deals together. His deals do not die. He finds solutions. And then you have to have the courage to ask the client if they'd like to make an offer on the house, right? Explaining days on market, things like that. And then finally, let me walk through that, right? You have to have the courage to ask the client if they'd like to make an offer on the house after every single house and be able to explain to them what they will have to do to win the house using examples. Examples being comps. I just went over this, right? Like houses your team, like if you're not seeing, being on these masterminds and these coaching sessions will help you understand the market so you can explain it to your buyers. And yeah, just talking about the market as a team, like talk to you guys have a big team. There's a lot of agents that are crushing. Just talk to each other about what's going on because otherwise you're not going to know. Think about the agent right now who like is solo, hasn't closed any deals in 60 days. They're walking into this market and they meet the consumer. And the consumer's like, how's the market? That's the agent's like, crazy, bro. Let's go. Like and then the consumer, especially the Zillow consumer is too smart. They're too smart. They can recognize if you're not the one, right? They're like, oh, what, market's crazy? What does that mean? Like, what do you mean that's crazy? Like, how are you going to help me get a house? That's how we have to talk. I wanted to keep this within 30 minutes. We're kind of at that moment. I wanted to point out a couple of points here, and then I'll hand it over to Andre to kind of say whatever he wants to say. But hold on one second. Share my screen real quick. Oh, I was just there. Right here, guys. Can you guys see my screen where it's like YouTube? Can you guys see my screen? No. Okay.
I'm seeing no white, just all white.
Let me see if this. Can you see YouTube now? Yeah.
Now we're good.
So this training right here, how to get our clients comfortable submitting offers, right? Gab's pointing at it. It's pink, right? That right there, that's the training everyone should be rewatching. When you're with your client, you're going to explain to them what what they need to do to write it, like get them comfortable writing offers, talk about home inspections, how they can get out of it. You really, the first time you meet them, you should be talking to them what that looks like and moving them forward, right? In the height of COVID, when everything was very, very dynamic, the average agent, the average consumer was writing 8 offers in the United States before they got an offer accepted. Oz Group was writing 2, right? You should be able to communicate that. Do you want to do this 8 times or 2 times? Cool. And by the way, agents, do you want to do it 8 times or 2 times? Somebody tell me.
2.
2, dude. Like, fuck that, man. 8 times, man. Writing 8 offers. Guys, these people need to buy a house. We need to help them, right?
That's
So
2 months.
everyone's
That's 2 months
watching-
of weekends that family sacrificed looking for houses that they didn't need to.
Totally. And they're gonna fire you because you don't know what you're doing. Seriously, like the bad agents, that's the average. The bad agents are writing 10 offers. The good ones are writing 2, right? That reminds me of Ethan Hines, right? Calling off-market properties, right? By the way, even if you don't find something off-market, the emotion in the universe makes it happen and brings it together, dude. Like nothing's ever been more true. So you have to get really, really comfortable. You have to get your clients comfortable writing offers. You have to be able to explain the market. And by the way, if you guys don't know how to do this, tell us, tell Gab, tell me, we'll train you on it. We can do it. We know how to do it. And then the second thing is I really just wanted to nail this down, that you guys gotta talk when you're submitting offers. You have to follow the offer submission checklist. You have to have a conversation with Gab. Gab's not available, me, whatever. You 2 heads are better than 1. And you guys that are brand new and have negotiated less than 5 deals, you have to work your negotiations through Gab. She will help you. It's not as cut and dry as you think it might be, right? Like there's a X factor to negotiating. Gab and I understand it at an extremely high level, and you guys are going to lose deals by $5 grand, $2 grand, 10 grand because you're just new to something. So what this looks like is you think that you submit it and you're like, and you think that you just bring counters back and forth and all that. There is an X factor to negotiating. There's a way to deliver things. There's a way to say things to both the buyer and the seller and the buyer seller's representatives. And once, like when you submit an offer, Gab should know. When you get a counter, Gab should know, right? And that's kind of it. So use those resources because 2 heads are better than 1. And that's why you're on a team and we're here to help you. Andre, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, just to kind of close it out. So, this is like dynamic, I think is definitely a better word than insane or crazy. If I'm an agent right now, the way I'm communicating to both my buyers and my sellers is this is a declining transaction environment. There will be fewer trades of real estate this year than there was last year. So what that means for you, buyer, is that there's less choices out there. There's probably just as many buyers fighting over fewer opportunities, so that we need to be a little bit opportunistic, and we need to know that that's the situation that we're buying into. Sellers, it may not be the offer that you dreamed about, but if we don't take this one, we might not get a better one, right? On both sides of the deal, we have to be a little bit more opportunistic, and in a declining transaction environment, that's the craziness, right? But it's far more intelligent to say a declining transaction environment. And just because that's the case nationally, that does not mean that you as an individual need to have a declining transaction year. You all individuals can have your best year ever. There's that much opportunity to be had, even if there's fewer trades in real estate nationally. You just got to be operationally excellent, emotionally intelligent, and operate with that X factor.
Cool. Andre, can I see if there's any questions real quick? Do you have a minute?
Sure.
Guys, cool. Thanks for wanting to keep you guys within a half hour, but that didn't happen. We have got Andre here. He's the smartest man in real estate. He talks to, I don't know, a lot of flex teams every single day. Anyone have any questions for Andre?
I don't know if I necessarily have a question, but you definitely covered a lot what's going on right now, which is definitely helpful. I'm just trying to hit all those checkpoints, right, and get in front of those clients right away. It's super tough, but I'm ready to just go at it and get these people locked in.
Love it. Appreciate it. Love the energy. Yeah, man. I guess just some like motivation, right? Is like, we have some people on the call here that like totally crushed 2022 on Zillow Flex, like did a really, really good job. I was literally just on a call this morning and was looking at 2022 numbers with a team in New York. And they had a guy who I met about 6 months ago. He's like brand new to real estate, did a background in the trades, and like took some time off, raised his kids a little bit, and came into real estate. The dude closed. He only took like 8 connections. Scared to take the phone calls, but he closed 3 of them. 3 out of 8. That's 37%. So if you're not at a 10% conversion rate minimum, maybe even 20, it's not that you're getting worse leads. It's not that the Zillow leads suck. It's that those people are going out and they found an agent that they found more trustworthy, knowledgeable, and likable, and bought a house with them. So challenge to all of you is that whether you had a good year, bad year, new to Flex, you can do better in 2023. Let's prove what's possible. Let's break the upper ceiling of what everyone thinks we can do and show what can be done.
Hell yeah. Hey, Andre, thank you so much for being here, man. I know you're a busy guy. You manage a lot of teams, and yeah, you've been a huge part of our success. And yeah, thanks for everything, man. Thanks for being here.
Appreciate you all. Yeah. Cheers. Have a good one. Bye, everyone.
Bye.